folks, you have found us mid conversation, but let me rewind the situation because we're here again this week with Demetria, activist
Hello.
in Portland, Oregon, who was just telling me that through the activism, through the work of organizing with other leaders and people, which is hard mentally, you were in a 5 hour meeting that where you were coming together with male activists, and the whole point of the meeting was it was like a town hall, or what was going on, like who was at this 5 hour meeting?
It was a lot of black films that felt like the men needed to have accountability for the things they were doing, misogynistic and selfish and self-centered and clout chasing with the movement, and that we need to get some accountability to move on because we have a lot of things going on right now. And because of their misogynistic behavior, we're like 10 steps back because the white community is wondering why our black men are having the same white supremacy thinking attitude as white supremacists. And if we're telling white supremacist men and women to stop the thinking, and we have black men thinking like that, thinking that, the followers and being on the cloud and having this person and that person and how many people that's donating to them, and it's all going to their head like it's about competition and who's doing this and who's doing that, and we're all supposed to be for Black
And
Lives
not
Matter.
doing the work, right? Not doing the work. So I'm gathering that the women leaders, you guys are coordinated and you organize events that help the community or educate the community or bring the community together. And you were all feeling like this group of men come, and the show is really all about them at the end of the day. Right.
Yes. I
And
mean, well,
they're also disrespecting you in those spaces.
all black strong femmes just disrespectful. I mean, at the meeting it was crazy because one of the organizers was saying she was going to do a breathing exercise, and the male took over and said he wanted to do it. I mean, that's how the meeting started off, and it's like we're sick of y'all telling y'all to listen to us. And it's just getting disgusting because it's like, okay, they tell us, okay, they want to work with us, but their actions is the total opposite.
So why did this meeting
Disrespectful.
take 5 hours? That's what I'm not understanding. Like, did they take accountability? I mean, I just don't understand how you confronting this issue.
No accountability was taken. There are people called out, Jedi, Dre, Creme Brulee. It was people being called out, and the same people that were getting called out left. And even with Rose City Justice, he had a whole conversation while I was talking. I had to stop my conversation and totally rip him another asshole for him to stop being disrespectful. He still was disrespectful because he still came up to the mic and tried to justify and apologize. And that's what we don't want to hear. The same old apology about you're sorry. Well, you shouldn't have did it in the first
But
place.
stealing the mic and apologizing is real extra
That,
too.
that, that. So
It seems like it sounds like it's stealing the mic, apologizing, and then leaving after you were called out and were no longer speaking.
that part, all of that went on.
Right.
It was
It's
just,
the
it was so
behaviors that
much.
they display at these events or whatever. Yeah.
And it was just more of
Protests,
everybody getting
marches,
together.
gatherings.
Mm, it was like more of everybody getting together and we're playing catch up. And it's like, no, this is about accountability. Half of the people didn't know about any of the gossip or the misogyny that's been going on, and the other half was thinking everything was okay. And it's just like a lot of confusion because of the misogyny that's been going on. And if we were all about Black Lives Matter, it would be no confusion.
Right.
But because so many people have their own motives and their own goals, It's too many distractions, too many infiltrators. And the infiltrators was right there at the meeting. And we even had a black lady say to we should support Dre. And it's just like he works
Who's
for
Dre?
Dre Miller, who works for Joanne Hardesty.
Right, as a community liaison.
Right. And he's at the meeting taking notes. And it's just like, oh my God, are you really?
Right.
And it's like, wow, you
Well,
work
I'm
for.
all for note taking, but then like accountability, but he has a reputation for doxing people. Is that another issue that came up?
Yeah.
Accused of doxing, and I mean, was this just a moment for all of the Black women to express these events that have happened that have brought y'all to this conclusion that there's misogyny with these Black
Yes.
leaders?
Yes, we brought up all instances. We brought up points. We brought up the behavior,
Right.
and it's gotten worse. It hadn't gotten any better. It's gotten worse, and we're just like, over the week, y'all have showed us how much you want to work with us by not doing anything that we agreed to with the meeting. Nothing, and it's just like, how are y'all still thinking that it's okay for y'all to keep this misogynistic behavior with no accountability and then still want us to forgive you and
Right.
accept everything you do as okay, that's right? No.
Will
It was.
also support us because we're Black and we're Black men. I mean, that was an interesting comment that you were referring to a Black woman standing up and saying, well, these Black women, as Black women, we need to stand by Dre because he has a job with the city commissioner's office, Joanne Harcy's office, as a community liaison in these times where we clearly have so much going on in Portland, you know, post George Floyd and all the protests that were happening. Like they're trying to figure out ways to work with the community and quell the violent protesting, for example. So I know you have been actually asked to do a free education for the police or whatever, but this is something that is asked of activists to go and share your experiences or whatever. I haven't been asked to do this in an effort to, you know, try to quell the violent protesting that might happen when Chauvin is likely acquitted of George Floyd's murder. What are your thoughts?
You know what I'm going to say exactly. I went through Jeremy Christian's trial where we saw the murders. We've been seeing murders being taped, and once again, the law is made for white men to get away with it. So I'm prepared to react to whatever happens. But me, he's going to get away with it. I mean, that's how our justice system works. It's going to always be some kind of technicality. It's always going to be the punishment is not going to suffice,
For
in other
Derek
words.
Chauvin, yeah.
And it's just like we all know by the way that they normally do, which is the victim is always the criminal when we're black. um
Yeah.
we did everything you can think of wrong, so that would dehumanize us, so that we can be looked at as we deserved whatever we got from the police or from whoever gives it to us. I mean, that narrative has always been the case, always will be the case. And we have so many people drinking that Kool-Aid and thinking, oh, okay, yeah, you're right, because they're so demonized that they want to find a reason to show hate and kill and be evil to each other and other people. And we know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? That's why they prepared and they built the fence. That's why they are bringing in more police, and that's why
Where's the
this
fence?
the fence around the courthouse.
Right.
Like,
We're
it's just,
fortifying the fence. Right.
you already know, because of the simple fact they're trying to get ready. They know what they're about to do. Look how they're setting the tone. Look how they're setting the tone. What did the witness say? He said, "You're not gonna pretend and paint me out to be an angry black man." And that's what they always do. They always do the same exact thing.
Right. And we have these systemic problems going on that are always going to be exacerbated by economic depressions, social upheaval, where one person is martyred for the systemic murder that they suffered by the police's hands, and now it's all on tape. So there's no way you can quite extinguish that, but they do it in these long legal proceedings. As Jeremy Christian wasn't a cop or whatever. It takes years for murder trials to go to trial.
And
It's
that's what's
years.
so crazy
Well, actually,
about.
this happened real fast. So, I mean, in comparison to other murders, they knew they couldn't drag their feet with this one because people would be too angry about that and perhaps protest again. But, yeah.
That's the thing about our system, that we all know this. It ain't even ours. It's their. What we know about their system is it works for them. It works for them. How does Jeremy Christian already have an appeal, and this been going on? This is going to be the fourth year, and we have black and brown sisters and brothers that haven't even had an appeal,
Yeah.
or had an appeal and still in jail and died.
I mean, 4 years from the murder, not even 1 year out from the trial verdict
Right.
and he has an appeal in being looked at. Right.
With
There
the
were
new
all sorts
lawyers.
of shady lawyers that were dropping by that trial. Oh no, Nora told me because she recognized one of Russell Courtier's shady lawyers. I was just dropping by that trial. What? To why? Because you find it interesting? Why do you find it so interesting? I mean, honestly, yeah.
You want to know. You want to know what's the outcome. You want to come and support. You want to see who's supporting. You want to see
Support.
what's right. Like, come on. Like, people got to really realize what be going on in this town, and people are so quick to just sweep everything under the rug. Like,
It's like
let me
Groundhog
forget.
Day there. It's
I
like
mean,
Groundhog's Day there. I grew up there. It's like something will happen. It's just like nobody remembers. The next day, it's like bloop. And, you can get away with being kind of airheaded there. So you can kind of float by that way. And it's just the happenstance of the demographics, too. So it serves them. And I think yeah, somehow that's shocking to see white people outraged about this. But I mean, right. It's an interesting divide in Portland because it's like everybody could blend in and just be accepting of each other in a way, in like an all white world. But there's a lot of white people that, that came out to support for the right reasons or to protest for the right reasons, pretty much.
but see, that's how infiltration and got into the movement.
Right.
Is
Look
a
at
lot
Bev.
of white
Look at Bev.
people.
I mean, as the words were coming out my mouth, like Bev was going through my head because she can code switch. Well, I mean, I don't think she can turn off the whiteness, but when she's floating around, wherever she's from, Lake Oswego, she's fine, right? Her kids look
Yeah.
white too. Like maybe it might make her mad that maybe one time someone thought she was the nanny or something, but that's like the extent of the kind of humiliation or alienation. So like, just because she was touched, devastated by George Floyd calling out for his mama, and she's a mama. I mean, it's just not right. I don't know. I'm rambling a little bit. Maybe.
But that's exactly what it is. It's like, that
She was
kind
like
of.
an anti-comrade, she was so terrible because she'd never been put in this situation before even. It was all about feeding her ego. And in a way, I see a lot of that with the characters that you were trying to make accountable. I don't know all their names. It's a lot of personalities to follow. But for me, as like a layperson to the movement, or just like a regular Joe that kind of wanders in and out, it's hella confusing and distracting from the message. And
And
that's
it
what
takes
pisses
people
me the fuck
away.
off because like it takes a lot of time for people to even organize a successful event and put the right people together and actually make any kind of changes in the neighborhoods that we're trying to protect. So the people that we're trying to protect, I mean the courthouse is not a neighborhood, right? But it became like a stage for all these personalities to come act out. And they actually like gained power off of GoFundMe's and being hired by the Joanne Hardesty. So it's just kind of like political actors, man. Come on.
That's
Like
it.
you got
That's
like
all it
strapped by
was.
the thing, but it's like no one knew you from before, really. All this work you supposedly did. A lot of people were called out because they called to the movement, but it's just like, I don't know, it didn't promote the right personalities. And I've just noticed, like, right, even like you all like hyped up off of the movement, right? And so it's like sometimes your behavior can be kind of erratic around other people because you're so gassed off of this power. But when you look at it through, the wide angle of life, it ain't shit. Like really, power for what? You don't what power? Economic, all the donations and shit. But I'm like, really? First of all, like some people just have the GoFundMe's in place at the right time or the Patreons in place at the right time. So now it's like an actual gig. And that, like, yes, you should get paid for organizing, but not if like I don't know you and I don't trust you. Like, and actually, who are you? Why are you here?
That
Right.
part.
Right.
Why are you here? Nobody wants to answer, why are you here? When they answer it, they'll say Black Lives Matter. And it's like, but what does that mean?
What does that mean? Yeah. Folks, you got to vet your leaders. You got to ask questions. Like, I am not one to hang around a protest where the person screaming at me and the thing is like getting on my nerves or
Or
making
they
me feel
saying
like
some derogatory or something that don't make
I don't even
sense.
let it get that far.
Right. Like what? And it does. And
Got
that's
me
what it
working
is.
for that? Like, no, that's like crazy. That's the definition of crazy for someone like me. Like, no way. So that's why I'm like, when you said 5-hour meeting, I was like, we got to talk about that. And still no answers or consequences. No, you got to cut them out and just like stop talking to them.
I'm talking about no concept. Matter of fact, like I said, this week has gotten worse. And then it's like no communication. Nobody really wants to come up with a plan of what's next. Everybody just wants to be like, okay, let me know what you're doing so I can promote what you're doing. And it's like, no, you have to know who you're promoting.
You
You
didn't
have to know,
listen. Yeah.
man.
You didn't listen. It's not about promoting the thing. It's about making the right connections in the community to sustain the thing. It's not about promoting your like weird production company, your like activist productions. Like, what the fuck is going on?
And then
I really
and
don't
then
want
you
to see any performance at all. I mean, that's just me. This is why like you don't see me in the street.
I'm not about any kind of performance. You supposed to be doing everything from your heart, and here you go doing stuff, and you. I don't know. I just can't. It's just so disturbing because we're working so hard, and right now they just refunded the police. And then added more police, and this is what we need to be focused on. But we're not focused on that because we have to educate the white people while the black men are still trying to use the movement as cloud and misogyny and all of that. So we have to explain that, convince them again to listen to us and not black men, then get back on track about fighting for black lives. It's just so draining. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
we have so many things to fight. This spring and summer is finna be worse than it was. We got to be prepared, and we got infiltrators in the movement letting you know that they work for Joanne, they work for Ted, they work for the police. They are there everywhere, and people are still acting like this is cool to be part of the in, like this an in crowd and the out crowd, and I want to be with the cool people, and this
Where's
just
the do the work crowd? That's the problem. I mean, that's something I observed with the Teresa. We're like, damn, where's the do the work crowd? And then when I figure out who they are, they're all women and they're all doing too much and they're all tired. I'm like, come on. I mean, that's how we bankrupt ourselves, first of all, before they even have to send the COINTELPRO, before they even have to do the COINTELPRO program. We're already like exhausted, but having to double explain. Can you imagine having to explain like why you shouldn't trust that black person, but now you need to trust me, and we need to get on the watch the police program for real because they just refunded them. And what do you mean by that when you say, and Joe, you can jump in here because maybe you have some links ready to go. But what do you mean by they just refunded the police in Portland?
Yeah, they just sent the Rotary Club just sent out a briefing saying that they just refunded the police, and they were hiring more police because more police were leaving the police district, and it's just like, what? Didn't we say that we didn't want the police and we wanted to defund the police? And everybody's like, oh, we're making progress, we're doing work. It's people in the inside that's doing work to refund the police and give them more money still after they just renamed the gang task force to something else. I mean, really, what?
That's a good note. I need to look up. Like, is it like called like the violence reduction course now or
It's
something?
something.
Dang, I need to write that down.
Cause
Yeah.
it's just like, wow, and it's just the same thing, just just new names, and it's just like, wow. And since when have any of this did anything to help our communities, our black people, our black children, and all of this? And it's like none of this is helping anything, but the politicians make more money off our lives.
Say that again.
And it's crazy because they're doing it in our faces, and everybody's like, oh, okay. And it's like, what? $2 million to bring back
Uniform police team to address spike in shootings. Of course, the spike in shootings in the black community in Portland's smallish black community. Right. So
and they're the ones doing the shootings and having the people they know do the shootings. And it's just like, this is just the same thing we've been saying all along, and it's keep going on, keep going on, keep going on. And they keep lying to us, and people are like, okay, all right.
what? Yeah. I'm here for like the creative art jam for social justice. No. Right. Hmm.
And it's so bad. And
Okay, that leads us to the point we gotta hire all these police because these police are leaving in droves. So they want their budget and plus some more to hire even more police. But is this part of the recording? Probably, yeah. But, yeah, I mean these police, these PPB, Portland Police Bureau cops are leaving in droves because why is that, Demetria?
they mama hate them.
Do you have to be a cop? Daddy, do you have to be a cop?
They wives leaving them, they whole family disowning them, they kids like, I'm gone. I'm going to live with granny.
Oh man. Yeah, it's just like not a cool job anymore.
It's not even a, it's like people used to make it seem like it was a job. All you are is
Listen,
paid
and they
killers.
really right. They
It's paid killers. You were paid killers and murderers, and you got off on it, and now we the cat's out the bag, and now you're gonna try to make it seem like you're there to the rescue. You've never been to anyone's rescue I've ever known in my entire life.
you never known anyone say back cop. Man. Okay,
And
but the thing about cops in Portland is they have got to deal with a lot of mentally ill people, right? So that's the other thing about being a fucking cop in Portland. It's like you're just called to crazy town I mean, that's all it is.
then they
System that is set up like, you know, that yeah, it's wild to be homeless in Portland, but people drop off their family members in the city because they cannot handle them anymore. And there's like a modicum of services in Portland. And I don't know. I mean, you know, my family deals with this or whatever, but I know it doesn't freeze, but it's not cool to be all wet and homeless and in a tent and crazy in Portland.
it's not, and they do sweeps all the time.
Yeah.
And
Oh
can
yeah, the one that they did by the train station. I saw that it was just like they did a sweep, but then this enormous pile of trash was left behind. I mean, it was huge. I mean, this is a problem.
right, you're taking people's homes and you're throwing them away, and it's already hard enough to get a home, period, and then you're going to take it away, and then you're going to say I'm in violation. You already took away the ability for me to survive,
Mm,
and then I get things to survive, and you still keep taking it away. And
right.
then you're saying you have permission to do this from our governor, our mayor, our attorney general. Everybody's gave you, our commissioner that gave you the okay to do this to people.
Well, I mean, that listen, who they answer to are stakeholders, property owners. They don't want that shit. They don't want that human shit. Is how they think about it. And so I was like, where are you sweeping? You're just sweeping these people out and they have to like regroup and they do the thing all over again. And
And then just think of the toll that it takes on you mentally, because when you lose everything, you have to start from the bottom and go again.
I
And
would
it's
already
like,
be under the toll from living in a tent and dealing with the things you deal with living in a tent on the street as a woman. I mean, I would already be like up to my ears, please. And like, besides what else is going on, right? My God.
because you have to worry about you being in danger as a woman and
Right.
protecting yourself.
In a tent on the street with all sorts of activity, I mean, that is a nightmare for me. A lot of people living that as a reality.
There's no other choice. There's no other choice. They're not giving us unemployment. They're not giving
Or
us
I
any.
mean, listen, like my brother is crazy. They fucking crazy. Like, how are they do? There's just that it's a problem, but we got to figure it out. You can't just do a sweep and then like, I mean that definitely makes it worse, exacerbates a
And
economic
they know that.
problem.
That's why they do it. It's like a
A
system they
reset.
have of breaking people down. Like, we're gonna
So
keep
that's
taking
what
your shit.
cops are doing these days in Portland. That's why they're leaving their fucking jobs.
Yep.
That or another man acting crazy and out of control.
I mean, you see it all the
You know?
time. You see it all the time, and then they get mad for you for calling them out.
Oh, it's here. The headline says overworked, overwhelmed, and burned out. Why Portland cops say they're leaving in droves. Zero support, they say they get.
The community shows zero support. The mayor and council ignores actual facts on crimes.
I mean, which is kind of crazy because we're constantly saying like, oh, they just upped the budget, but then the other side also sees them as part of, um, the liberal agenda or whatever to destroy cities or let cities burn to the ground, whatever their rhetoric is.
It's property. It's always about property. The riders be burning things, but it's the infiltrators they put in the movement to burn things to say it. Period. Look at that.
Prove that in a court of law.
Look at what they're saying.
Yeah, we can't hear the sound, Coach. Oh yeah, you have it on mute. So start it over, roll it to the back. You had it on mute on YouTube. Still can't hear. Technical issues, folks. Yeah, but the point is they are overworked, whatever.
But this is the thing. They show those pictures of vandalism and the pictures of so-called us protesters. Right, what we did. But come on, are you kidding me right now? Like, we know y'all
infiltrated. 115 police. I don't know how many officers are in the whole force, but 115 police left the bureau since July, since the protests like started popping the hell off and they were gassing everyone. Like, they had to be a part of that. They had to be the active gassers of the people around the fence of the courthouse. Like, that doesn't make any sense. That's, for the well-intentioned cop, that's not why they became a cop, likely.
One of the cops that was hired to come down there to the riots was on the town meeting with Joanne and Ted in the Black Hall that they had. And he was saying how he couldn't believe that the mayor and the commissioner allowed rioters to throw mazel tovs at the buildings and allowed them to destroy the buildings.
Well, that's the narrative, yeah.
But how could they allow it? He was pissed off and mad at the mayor for allowing it to happen.
Okay. So you're saying they allowed it because there's a bigger agenda to have that property destroyed by so-called Antifa?
So that they can keep the narrative going. They're burning things. That's why we need more police. They're destroying things. That's why we need. It's all a ploy.
So the actual cop said that, but the actual cop said that, like, you Ted and Joanne, that you allowed this destruction to happen and it didn't have to.
Yeah, and he was a guest speaker on the Black Men's Town Hall.
So what was his suggestion? That they knew who it was, so they could have it
was no suggesting.
You mean no suggesting?
It was no suggestion. He just made the statement.
Yeah.
And how it made him feel. It was horrible. And with the town meeting, I was like, wow, okay, somebody got paid, because all of this sounds scripted. Everyone knew someone in the police department or had a family member in the police department, and come to find out it was scripted. Dre gave them scripts to read
about their own backgrounds,
about their experiences and how they had to approach it and say it.
weird. Well, the
It's
head
not
of the
weird. It's political. That's the political thing about it, is that everything is scripted to a certain narrative. Nobody said defund the police.
yeah, right, because so they would they were never defund the police people, all of these people that said that they had a cop in the family or knew a cop or whatever.
Yes, they're supposed to. The question, remember, the question was your first experience with the cop and how it made you feel. Now, how are you going to have people that have cops in their family, that know cops, and that do not want to defund the police on this town meeting with Ted Wheeler and Joanne Hardesty, who fell asleep and then got up and even left the conversation?
I mean, it's unreal. I mean, part of the reason why we do this podcast is to we have no viewers right now, but just to show how weird it truly is in Portland. I just feel like that wouldn't fly other places, or
Absolutely
then
not. It wouldn't even fly for him to be the police commissioner and the mayor.
right. I mean,
Like that. That right there is enough.
they don't. It's like they act like he's not even, that role doesn't exist anymore. They give him,
And,
um,
and when he say he don't know about things, you like, how you don't know about things and you're the police commissioner?
I mean, why wouldn't you give up that role at this point?
Because that power. That means you have power, that you don't have to answer nobody, that you can do what you want to do. Like that white supremacy.
Right.
Power. I'm not giving it up to you or nobody else, because then I have total control. And then who shows any accountability for what I do? No one.
Well, what's crazy is also that the head of the police union resigned in association with that bizarre kind of swatting thing, or I don't know if you call it swatting. Kojo, you can clip in here what you call, where like somebody, I don't even understand, accused Joanne of stealing a car, Joanne Hardesty or something. I don't even know.
It was a hit and run.
Okay, hit and run. Right. But how did like she get? I don't understand how her information got doxxed or whatever. I don't understand the case whatsoever.
The whole thing was that Portland needs, well, let me right now, okay. 4 investigators will probe the leak of damaging and incorrect information about Commissioner Joanne Hardesty. So the thing was that this is the so-called story, is that someone reported her hit and run. The lady who was involved in it said it looked like Joanne Hardesty because she left the scene.
Okay.
And then they made out a police report, and then they found out the police gave the police report to some chuds. The chuds therefore went to her apartment complex and was calling for her, and some of her neighbors called the police.
I'm still so confused by this whole thing because,
right.
So I mean, was it a hit and run?
And that's the whole thing, because I don't think it works the way that they're perceiving it to work, because when you're in a hit and run, the officer comes and takes the statement, and then she still was for the police after this happened.
I mean, I just don't understand. So then from the report, the chuds got her home address.
Supposedly. Didn't go to her apartment. They went to her apartments or wherever she stayed.
It's weird. Okay, so the head of the police union resigned over it, which means that he's likely complicit in handing over this incident report where Joanne Hardesty was accused of this hit and run. But then, like, I guess they didn't I don't understand like why her addresses were in the report if they hadn't. I mean, if they had already figured out it wasn't her. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, not only that, it doesn't work like that.
Right. There's something wrong.
It doesn't work. It doesn't even work like that. Because in your police report, um, they call you and ask you what information wants to be released when you have a police report. Because all of that
And also, she's
information.
the city commissioner. You would think that. I don't understand why her information would be in the report like that if it clearly wasn't her. Or was it her? I mean, who did the hit and run?
And how did they get her information in the first place on the police report if it was a hit and run?
I'm still confused by this whole situation. Anyways, to be continued because I just feel like there's more to that.
This is why everything is going on, is because it has to be a deflection and a reflection off of the incident about her and the Lyft driver. So she's trying to make up for all of that. No, everybody remembers that.
All of that
So
noise at the
all
casino.
of this is to try to rectify, just even with the letter. I mean, even when that happened, when he dropped her off in Vancouver, she tried to say it was erased because she's a Black woman. Now, with the 25 men that agreed and signed the letter to support her and her only.
Can you pull that up, Kojo? It's a letter signed by 25 Black male leaders, some of them who are at this 5-hour meeting, right, Demetria?
Yes.
Can you find that, Kojo? It's a letter that they signed, just like vowing to protect Black women. It's ironic.
And you gotta read it out loud. Like, you seriously gotta read that letter out loud.
I'll read it out loud. Yeah. And who signed the letter? Out of the people that signed the letter were at the 5-hour meeting?
Dre Miller, Wiz, I don't know his real name. Ken Ford. I think that's it. Max Smith, I think he's one of them.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know who these guys are, but it was signed like Black male leaders in the community of Portland.
Cameron Whitten was on there.
It was what, 20, 25 guys. So, I mean,
but the statement said it was 50 actually. But where's the other 25? So that's very deceptive right there. Then the deceit is when they say Black women, like it's more than one, and it's only her.
Right, like she's the only, right, yeah. And that's weird because there's such a history of disrespect.
Right, what about all the
other Black women, but some of these men, I just was thinking about Teresa the whole time, and also the kill lists. I mean, we could really bring that up every podcast that, there's actual lists that go around with Black women leaders' names. I think, however, Joanne Hardesty's information got out to the chuds that came to her apartment, I mean, that shows that information is easily leaked from the police's hands into dangerous white supremacists, Google Maps, because they're probably too stupid to cover their tracks or whatever.
But he's the police commissioner, so how he not know who in this group?
Because he's just like, I don't understand why he holds on that. I just don't even understand how he's mayor. But there he is, and this milquetoast, he like needs to be the police commissioner. It's like they hate him. That's what's so crazy. It's like sometimes these crazy right wingers, sound like me in the contempt for Wheeler, for Ted Wheeler. It's like the equal amount of hatred coming at this man who managed to, you know, play that, and like he's a two-term mayor and the police commissioner getting tear gassed by his own police. I mean, that was definitely many a headline.
That wasn't nothing but comical shit. That was like
Well,
that
that's
was
what I'm
like
saying. Like, I
a
don't know
whole
if it's this
fucking
vast
skit.
conspiracy, but maybe it is.
It's just so disgusting. Like everything about that was so disgusting. And everything about him is disgusting. And it's just like I'm serious because it's just like it just reeks white supremacist. I'm entitled to do whatever the fuck I want. That is just so gross. You just be like,
And he's been doing that since the beginning. Be like, oh, that's not my fault. I guess I didn't ask to be born, but he was born into a timber mining family, so they've been taking advantage of white supremacy since the get.
Portland police chief acknowledges his agency's self-inflicted damage to public's trust, need for critical look at police department cultures. It's funny he should say that when he was one of the people who spoke on the town meeting about his instance as a child and still became the police chief.
Right? You mean being harassed by police as a child? What's his name? Chuck Lavelle.
And you still was the police. You so we got everybody on the Black Town Hall meeting that's for the police. Now what?
Have also been harassed by police. So they're still there.
As kids, and no one's mom was on there to say how I felt about my child and how my child was affected by this. They're all on there just no one said defund the police. That was so crazy to me. No one said defund the police.
Really? Really? Wow.
No one.
Not
No
a one.
Everybody was for the police.
Yeah. How is this town hall branded? Can I find it real quick?
I think
I'm just so confused.
Yeah, I sent you the
How in the name of post George Floyd can there not be one person on the dais that is speaking from the left not say defund the police?
Exactly, because it was all scripted. I told you he gave everyone that a script and how to say the narrative. They stuck to a certain narrative. I told you Joanne fell asleep and she got up from the whole conversation. Like what? And Ted act like he was taking notes so he can refer to some shit. Like what? You know everything that's been going on, you fucking idiot.
He's so wild.
Like, come on.
Like, stop.
Just quit it. Just please. Like, come on. Like, I'm so tired of the fuckery. People want you to swallow, and I'm throwing it up. Ugh. No.
Okay, let's also talk about the PPB, and they're in contempt of a federal order to keep oversight of their aggressions. And Chuck Lavelle, although he admits some complicity in how the public view the police negatively, he does what he's told. And he's part of this whole refusing to comply with the federally mandated oversight, and that's also what the community's been asking for since the beginning. I mean, what Joanne touts as one of her accomplishments is putting together like a community oversight committee over the PPB that I don't believe had any kind of effective change whatsoever. I can't speak on it completely because I wasn't there, but the whole point is that the community wants there to be checks and balances, so the police can't just enact excessive force and get away with it. That these things
But
have
they
to
have
happen
been all summer long.
all summer long. So there was another. So there's another issue with another because this is from 2014 with the Don't Shoot Portland federal case, which was also citing police's excessive force during the entire summer gassings of protesters. There was no accountability for that. So it's hard to gauge where that lawsuit is at, but I can't. That federal judge that's sitting on that case definitely has to be looking at what's going on over here. Like, these guys don't give a fuck, even if it's a federal order. They're not going to comply with that and report on themselves.
That's the thing. The government don't give a fuck. The judge don't give a fuck because they would have said something way longer.
Yeah,
Now.
exactly. These judges. But this guy, what's his name? Judge Hernandez. He's the one with Teresa's case with the Don't Shoot Portland. But the last ruling wasn't really seeming that dynamic. You know, it's kind of like, well, all right. But kind of like this, like they would have to report on themselves is the most and extra training on how to use the gas can machine. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay.
Still, once again, there's no accountability. Still, once again, we're left with taking care of our own, doing what we need to do to survive. Again, we're left with the lies that they try to tell us and the bullshit that they try to tell us again. We have to be ready again that they're hiring new police. They're giving them more money to get more ammunition and to fuck us up even more.
Yeah. Feds say that Portland police must produce a plan for how they will conform with the settlement.
It doesn't even matter if they come up with a plan. Ain't nobody gonna make sure they implement the plan. That's how that shit goes. All they got to do is say they gonna do some shit, and there it is, just like everything else.
Right. And the city council is forming a commission that will spend 18 months to come up with the parameters for a future board.
A whole nother year and a half. A whole nother year and a half.
That's what they're getting paid for, to form a commission that will spend 18 months to come up with the parameters for a future board.
Parameters, not even a plan.
What?
Parameters for a plan.
I mean, this is why Teresa and Don't Shoot Portland used to go blow up their meetings all the time, because it's bullshit. They're not doing shit.
Nothing but taking our money,
wasting time,
doing nothing.
Meeting to think about forming a commission that will spend over a year to come up with parameters for a board of something.
Listen to what it said. Thinking about. Let us think about it. So I'm paying you to think about it. I'm paying you to think about it.
You know, that's how Mr. Dre is getting paid. And it seems like everybody's time was wasted at this 5-hour meeting. So he's learning from the best.
Yep, pretty much. And you know, I told you the other young lady, she was on Joanne's campaign. So when she dropped that bomb, and we didn't even, none of us, I didn't know, and several other people that there had no idea that was just a bomb drop right there. And it was disgusting for us to find out that way, but we found out that way that she was for Joanne's campaign. So it was really understandable when she said to go with Dre. So it's just like, wow. I mean,
do you think the average person in Portland would understand all these fissures in the Black community? It seems like a lot of people in Portland would think that, oh, Joanne and them, they're all on the same team.
Yeah, they want to think that because they have their blinders on and haven't been really seeing what's been going on. That's for the people that's at home and want to have a black person to say that that's on the black people's team and they've done something for Black Lives Matter. But if you down in the movement and you know and you live in this community, that they've done nothing for the community, period.
People gotta know. Because like you said, that it's about to be a lot going on again. Summer's coming, verdict's coming. And there's still systemic inequity, and they are not having a problem moving the pieces to get the budget where they need it to be for the police.
You just saw how much they asked for. You just saw they just asked for some more money. Like, come on, like. And even on the meeting, that's what he said. We're going to have more money so this stuff won't happen.
Right. So the feds won't get called again.
Which they already
I guess they got sent. Yeah. I mean, it's still so opaque how that whole situation went down.
They're still here at the Marriott. They haven't went nowhere. Like, people are so crazy. Like, they ain't went nowhere. They've been at the Marriott and motherfuckers like, oh my God, the feds at the Marriott.
Can you pull up the address for the Marriott where all of the federal police are staying?
Huh?
Well, they are at the Marriott. These federal
Everybody
police.
know that.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be just funny if we could Google Earth that right now.
Maybe, I'm telling you, they're all there. And we knew that from last summer.
Getting some salt and straw, whatever they're doing, enjoying our city at the Marriott.
They're just getting drunk. They're going down getting drunk. And they're ordering shit from DoorDash, and they are totally living it up in the parking lot.
Living away from the parking lot, away from their wife.
Kicking it, talking about I'm glad that I gotta get the way, and they just don't know their wives is.
I mean, I bet their wives, they should know.
Overtime.
Any cop's wife should know.
I'm gonna need you to work overtime. Overtime. And then what's funny is 9 times out of 10, their wives are cheating on them too. Talking about, stay away as long as you can. Talking about, go out of town if you need to. I don't care. Talking about whatever it needs.
Get out of here.
They at the store shopping right now. Talking about, I ran up another credit card. You need to have another job. Go do some security.
Overtime at the Marriott.
Someone go do that
at the Marriott. Yeah. Oh yeah, these brothers,
oh my God.
Right. This is right. Sorry, I gotta queue up. This is from last week. FBI announced last Wednesday that they've arrested 2 Oregon brothers who participated in violent far-right protests in Salem and Washington, D.C., you know, the notorious January 6th insurrection on our nation's capital. So they participated in 2 violent far-right riots at our Oregon state capitol in Salem. And they also managed to travel 3,000 miles across the country to do the same shit but worse, with like the gathering of the juggalos, or the Proud Boy movement, which left at least 2 cops dead, right? It's unbelievable how they're able
to. The cops they're supposed to be supporting, right?
Right. And Blue Lives Matter, but then had to
but you kill them
over the head with a fire extinguisher. Okay. Blue Lives Matter, though. Right. Anyways, that's when the doors weren't completely open. Oh, yeah. Can you pull that video up, Coach? I mean, this is of an Oregon State senator opening. It looks like he opened the door.
He
For
did. He did.
a wild video. And it
They are.
reminded
They.
me of
Yep. They're asking for him to resign. If I'm not mistaken.
he needs to go.
How is it he's still in there? They
I would
got
like
him
to
on
see him try to
camera.
spin it. You know, he's gonna try to spin. Oh, I didn't know it was going. I was just going out for smell or whatever. You know,
Like I said, how is it? It's just crazy that they give so many excuses for white men. So many excuses for white men. You just like, wow, really?
yeah,
Seriously? Like, come on. Like
right,
this is too much. Like,
yeah,
y'all give a white man an excuse for everything. What's funny is that when you always see that shit on TV, when they kill somebody, their whole family and the neighbors always say, he was such a nice guy. I can't believe that happened. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Look at this. Look at him.
Oh yeah, he sees them. Come on, bro.
Come on, Glenn. Come on, Billy. Billy. Billy, call all the way, Billy. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. We ain't got but 5
You
minutes.
know what?
Billy.
Jonathan Peter.
Billy.
Jonathan
Billy.
Peter Klein. Hurry up. You better
Hurry
run
up,
here.
Billy. I told y'all to be ready when we open the door. Come on, come on, come on
Jonathan.
now.
I mean, this is literally their name.
Look out. Uh-oh, here they come, Billy. Here they come, Billy. I told you not to take that long, Billy. I told you.
With that stupid flag.
Oh, you see him pop the lady?
Wow. See him pop the lady. Wow.
And look, and it wasn't no lady. That's the cop. I was just saying.
Oh, jokes.
He hit that lady.
He hit the lady? Yeah, that's what these guys are like. Yeah, but Blue Lives Matter.
Right. They talking about look.
These two brothers, their names are Matthew and Jonathan Peter. Yes, Jonathan Peter is one name. There's no hyphen, no space. This is Jonathan Peter. Jonathan Peter. And they're arrested. I don't know if they've been bonded out, bailed out, whatever. But they're at the Umatilla County Jail.
But if they bailed them out, you know they gonna go in hiding just like they did the other young man.
Oh yes, all their people, like they're the ones that own these crazy little backwood acres, you know.
Yep.
Like it's wild. Remember when those yahoos took over the national park?
Yes. Yes.
Like how do you own a plane? I don't know. There was some story about because like some of them go hunting, like plane hunting, where they shoot deer from like a plane, and with AK-47s because they have arsenals, which is a whole other.
They have a lot.
Yeah, it's a whole other podcast. I mean, a lot land and an arsenal, and they're very.
Because most of them own the gun stores. So what?
Yeah, that part. What's that? What's the gun store? The gun room. The gun room.
It's a couple of them here that they own,
and
a lot of them in Vancouver that they own. It's just like everything we always say is so true, but people just act like we just invent things up and we're overreacting.
Right. Conspiracists or whatever.
And it's like, no.
That's freaking me out about the gun room. I was like, okay, this is wild. Like, what do you mean he's like the old Grand Wizard of Oregon or whatever? But whatever, to whatever varying degree of, family lynchings in their family that they participated in, wherever the fuck they're from. They're sitting on an arsenal of guns.
Because they already know.
I mean, they're the whole store for the fucking long range semi-automatic bullshit, you know.
Because the feds keep up with that. That's why they make these gun laws, is they keep up with these people who break the laws and keep up with everybody who's selling guns, because they know that white people is the only one who gonna get that arsenal and be able to sell it and get away with it.
Yeah, that's true. That part's true as well. Yeah, exactly. How many gun rooms are gun stores are owned by non-white people, black people? I'd be
That
interested
part.
to know that. I've never thought to ask that before.
That part.
Do you have an answer for that? How many? Is there any kind of number? That's
Now, I know it's
these literally
not a lot.
are like armories. They're arsenals of weapons.
You barely can get ammunition. You
They're
barely
in
can
little
get
hill, like
ammunition now.
in Oregon, whatever. I don't know what kind of bunkers they're building out there, but
You can't even get
all
ammunition now. It's hard for you to get ammo here. It's hard for black people to get ammo here. Like, what?
Interesting. Mm.
You know they don't want you to protect yourself.
They don't want you to have guns. Stuff to put in the guns. Remember when the Black Panthers marched with guns on their state capital of California and Sacramento? It was over in a day. They gun laws faster than anything, than all the
anything you've ever seen in your life, faster than they did those stimulus checks.
I know. I was like, wait, you can do stuff real fast. Government. Now they have like the most restrictive gun laws in the country.
Right.
Right.
Because we cannot have y'all.
But meanwhile, Jonathan Peter can be marching all day long with his gun show at the Salem Capitol, acting a fool.
Him and all his cronies,
his brother,
like everybody who
and everyone with non-hyphenated two-name first names. What the fuck is that, Jonathan Peter?
Jonathan Peter.
He'll never get old.
Never. Jonathan Peter. Like,
Coach, I want you to almost bring that picture back up. But
Jonathan Peter, and they both look like Jonathan Peters. They look just like
they both like, yeah.
You know.
Wow, that was a good name for you.
Like you and your brother. And I bet your dad is named Dick Wall or Hall of Peter.
Dick Wall.
Like, let me name
Peter. Family. Right.
All of that.
Okay, so I guess we're gonna end on the coronavirus vaccine hit 1 million in Portland. About to start giving it to babies and homeless people. But my mom still hasn't gotten a freaking coronavirus vaccine, and she really wants it and needs it because of pre-existing conditions. So it's just interesting because now everybody's getting this vaccine and posting their like vax photos and.
Commissioner Joanne Hardesty, she got hers. She's gonna tell the black people that it's safe to get it because she got hers.
Right.
How is that safe for me to get a vaccine? How is that safe because you got it?
Well, you know, she knows how to speak to the black community.
I ain't listening. I'm deaf as fuck.
She's the liaison.
I am
the liaison. Gray's a liaison to the other.
All of that.
That's why you have to take notes on everybody's names.
I am not hearing nothing she's saying at all. Like, no. It's like when your mom is trying to tell you something and you put both of your fingers in your like la 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 and she knew. I'm not hearing none of that. Yes, that part.
So hopefully my mom will get a vaccine.
After isolating pandemic year, vaccinations of unhoused Oregonians now underway.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, I have to laugh a little bit about that. Like, damn, mom, you still haven't gotten your vaccine? Giving it to homeless people now.
That's the thing. I mean,
My dad got the Johnson and Johnson, the one shot, the good one that everybody would prefer. His ass got it right away, and he's a little bit older than her, so he qualified sooner. So he just like walked in and got the Johnson and Johnson shot. But
wow.
she would prefer to get that shot, as would I. But they don't tell you that they have it. They just either have it or they don't. So you either get that or you don't, or you get the one where you have to come back in a couple weeks or whatever. Get the second.
Yeah. So even with Johnson and Johnson, like with their credibility of not having cancer in their powder, I
Right.
just really
Well, I mean, I think that they developed napalm or whatever. I feel like Johnson and Johnson is involved with the military industrial complex and chemical warfare. But
that's
I
just how I feel. And and for
I
I
just want
don't
to
know.
travel, and I would like to see my grandma. It would be a shame if she passed and
Yeah.
saw her again. She got the other one where, anyways, end of
I
the
just
night.
know that the information that I was told was that the vaccine doesn't stop you from getting it. It doesn't stop you from spreading it. All it does is shortens your symptoms like it would be a flu shot. So I was disturbed when I heard someone actually say that it preventing it. It was a commercial and it wasn't CDC approved either. And it was geared toward the black community, saying that, just to let you know, I got my shot, and to let the black community know that it's safe. And it's just like, what? It does stop you from spreading it and preventing it from what?
So it was a commercial with like, I'm black and I just got my shot, like that sort of a commercial.
Yes, but you know how it has a soul sister talking and then, a sister voice. And it's
I mean,
like,
it's horrible.
yeah, I got my shot. I just wanted to let everybody know, that it's safe to get your shot.
Would she walk into the nail salon and let everyone know, let all the like let the workers know?
That's what it felt like. Like, oh my God, let me let everybody know that this is what's up. And it's like, no, that's not what's up.
You didn't
Like
buy it with a black person? You didn't like it, she was to you?
no,
The soul
no,
sister, you said.
like no, 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 no.
Well, I am gonna get vaccinated. I'll let you know how it goes.
Yes, and I'm praying for you. Let me know, because I'm gonna tell you I love you right now.
Mm.
I love you, and
I'm trying to travel and see my grandma.
you better see your grandma before you better Zoom her and stuff. I
I'm
don't trust the
tired of
government.
Zooming. I don't want to Zoom anymore. I'm over the Zoom.
You got one more year. You better get into it. You better find some creative
Another
ways.
pandemic year, so hopefully not. I mean, the number.
No, yes. I mean, we already know that this is not like they didn't shut it down like it was supposed to be in the first place. And that's what it's more about. Is shutting it down and everybody is, not spreading it, and just closing everything down so everybody can heal. Everybody's still sick. So nobody's really healing. They're just putting a band-aid over, and it's like, no, sit down and heal. Rest your mind, your body, and your spirit and everything, and get back to loving yourself. That's what this is meant for. But everybody's taking it as let us hurry up and get back to normal. No, it's never gonna
Yeah.
be normal. It's never gonna be normal again. It's time for change, and it's time for everybody to realize that we're all human beings and we need to be treated as such. So
Mm,
until people get that shit together, we all still gonna keep going through the same thing over and over again until everybody get it right.
you're right. It's true.
So
Learn something from having gone through all this shit for a year. Damn.
right.
Disappointing about like the 5 hour meeting story. It's like, wow, y'all just went through this whole summer. This whole summer.
And here we are.
And here we are. Really?
That's how I
Yeah.
felt. I was so disappointed, and that's what I said. It was just disappointing to see that that the maturity that I thought people had or was hoping they had by the way that they were presenting themselves was true. But it turned out that the maturity wasn't there. The motives was different, the goals were different, people had their own agendas, and it just wasn't the same. So in reality, I had to come in grips with the fact of everybody ain't for Black lives. So you have to move on with the people that are for Black lives and hold the people that are not accountable and educate, and they supposed to educate themselves to be accountable and to know what they're fighting for. So that's where we're at, is that are they going to be able to educate themselves and then come back to the fight, you know what I'm saying, and realize that this is about Black lives, not about them? Or are
Right.
they just gonna fade away? Because we're gonna still be being here as women. We're matter of fact, we're doing the. I'm gonna send you the flyer. We're doing the breakfast in the park, and we're gonna be doing it for the kids, and we're gonna turn it into lunch, and then we're all gonna turn into a dinner. Then I told you that we're gonna start getting the teens marches where they're building little houses for the homeless, and that we're gonna get teen cooking classes from farm to table, where you're cooking and everything is what it's supposed to be.
That's
So
beautiful.
those are the
Yeah.
things. Yeah, mutual
That's
aid
the work.
moments.
That's the work. Right. I always see women doing the work. And we'll end it there.
Okay. Well, we always gonna do the work. We're gonna stay focused. We're having another meeting and we'll see, but we're gonna be moving on because we don't have
Another
time.
meeting. I hope without them.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see because they're gonna be a. But I told you I'm prepared this time to
Because
walk
this is like
away.
a whole summit.
Yeah, I'm prepared to walk away because when it gets to the point where it gets monotonous, I gave them the benefit of the doubt the first time, but if you're shame on me the second time, if you come to this meeting and you still in the same frame of mind and you haven't grown or you haven't shown any kind of effort, then I'm out, because this is about moving on. This is a revolution, and we
Mhm.
can't spend our downtime on educating people that's supposed to be educated. That's up to you.
That don't
You
want to learn.
Yep, that part that don't want to learn. So yep, we want to learn, we want to grow. So that's
Right.
why we are doing what we doing, and we
Right.
keep things going. So thank you.
Thank you, babe. Love you.
Love you next time. All right, love
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
Bye.
Peace.